So if you had to leave the planet tomorrow and you could only leave the world with one piece of health advice, like you want to leave them with some great wisdom, what would that piece of wisdom be that you would leave the planet?
Oh gosh. For fitness, I'd I think it's important always to remember why you started.
Welcome, Hustle and Fit family. I've got another great interview today. I think you'll actually enjoy this one because it's really to the core of how Hustle and Fit was built. I have an interview guest. His name is Matteo Biello. He's a fitness influencer on Instagram, and he's also a structural engineer. And he started providing information through his Instagram page because he wanted people to understand that there's always time to get fit. And he proved that when he was basically, struggling as a student, having a heavy schedule, and at the same time making sure he put time into the gym. So, what I really want everyone to get out of this interview is to really understand that there is a way to make it work. You don't have to be a personal trainer or bodybuilder. And I think Matteo is the person to talk to make that all possible. Matteo, welcome to the show. How's it going, man?
Good, thanks for having me.
Oh, man, it's my pleasure. As I was saying, I'm really excited to talk to you because the biggest challenge is that a lot of people say, I work a job, I have a 9 to 5, and I just don't have the time. So what would you say to that when someone kind of comes to you and says that?
I think it's a super common excuse not to go to the gym. I think lots of people always try and find ways to excuse themselves from going to the gym because they're lazy, maybe they're tired. But if they truly want to make a change, if they truly want to change themselves, then they will always find a way to go to the gym. And I think that's comes also from your mindset, your motivation to go. So you need to have the right mindset in order to get towards going to the gym.
Got it.
For sure.
What got you into this? Like, what made you, start on this whole journey?
So it was actually pretty, I was very fit in high school, played a lot of sports, went to the gym in high school. So basically very, very fit in high school. And then into my first year of college, I gained, I guess, what they call the freshman 15.
Yeah, we all
There's
do.
actually probably a little bit more than the freshman 15, but yeah, just lots of engineering courses. So I struggled. I ate all the time. Wasn't really following the proper workout principles. Even when I did go to the gym, I felt like I wasn't getting a good workout in. And I think that also had to do with how my mind was going to the gym. So then, I guess I decided to make a change. And that's when I actually went on the Kinobody program, and it preached like the 3 days a week, 3 days a week working out, intermittent fasting, like enjoying the food you want. I was like, okay, this is exactly what I need right now because I'm struggling with that. So then I went on that, and that's actually what helped me change for the better into my second and third year. It was more my third year of college when I actually transformed my body. And then my third year, that's when I actually started my fitness account on Instagram, kind of like showing my transformation and then beginning to show my journey on Instagram.
Yeah, and you seem like you have a pretty strong community on there. So,
Yeah,
like in terms of like responses, so it looks like a lot of people are actually following you and really taking a lot from what you've done. So,
definitely.
from what I'm hearing from you, so mindset is the key. So, if that's the case, what was the switch that said, okay, I got to get this done? Like, what made that happen for you?
I think just looking at myself in the mirror and not being happy, and then looking at old photos of myself, like back in high school, and seeing how fit I was, and I was like, dang, like I want to be like that again. I'm sick of this. I'm not happy. Um, so then from there, I'm like, okay, I need to make a change. I need to better myself again. What I preach is become your ultimate self, which is your physical and mental best. And from there, I did it.
You made it happen, man. It's
Yeah.
crazy. How did you stay committed though? Like, what was it like? Because I know from myself and people that I've talked to who are trying to balance this all out, they kind of just fall off. What makes you stay in the game?
First, what made me stay in the game was knowing where I was coming from and having my goal in mind and knowing why I started. So I always wrote down why I started, take progress pictures so I can look back on those pictures. Okay, I don't want to look like this. I got to keep on going. but also it came from the minimalist training. So I was only training 3 days a week, but I was training heavy, I was training hard, and I had those 5 days a week of rest, which I really needed, because when you're training 3 days a week, you're in the gym, you're not fooling around, you're training hard. And I think it came from that, because only 3 days a week training, you still have a life. And I needed that. I needed the balance between having a life and having school. And then that's what I found the 3 days a week training did for me. And I think that was a big part of it, because before that I was working out 5, 6 days a week and it was just too much. So then that's why I stopped, and I was just eating too much. And yeah, so definitely the 3 days a week helped out a lot.
That's awesome. So you basically crunched your workout times, and that kind of helped you to be able to keep this realistic. And
Exactly.
then what was the nutrition like in that period of time, and so forth?
So what I did was, like I said, I was intermittent fasting. So I wouldn't eat the first half of the day. And that helped out a lot too, because I didn't have to focus on trying to eat. And then usually towards around 1, 2 o'clock, I'd have a bigger meal, and then I'd have a little snack after that, and then I'd have my dinner. And since I waited so long into the day, it was so much easier for me to stay in a calorie deficit and actually eat the foods I wanted as well. And it honestly just comes down to how it's like, it doesn't matter what diet you do. It's calories in versus calories out. If you're eating less than you're burning, you're going to lose weight. And I found at the time, if I didn't eat a lot in the middle of the day or at the beginning of the day, and then I'd eat most of my calories at night, I could stay full, stay satiated, but then I'd still be in a calorie deficit. And I think that helped out a lot.
Oh, okay, wow. So the intermittent fasting really propelled you as well. What were you like? Could you give me an example of one of the like one of your meals as an example? Like, let's say.
Yeah. So I wake up at 7 o'clock. I wouldn't eat till 12, 1 o'clock, and then I'd have my first big meal, which would be like, I like breakfast, so I'd have like eggs and a bagel, egg whites. So I'd usually have the scrambled eggs, and I'd have like 3 whole eggs, and then a serving of egg whites, then like a plain bagel with peanut butter. So that'd be like my first meal. And then I'd have another snack later, probably like a protein bar and like an apple or a banana. And then I'd have my big dinner, so whatever I was having. So I'd try and have a lot of the protein there, some carbs, some fats. And then if I'd still have some calories to work with, I'd have maybe a little dessert at night, or even a protein shake or something like that.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So it didn't sound too restrictive. It seems kind of a
No,
little bit flexible in terms
definitely
of.
not. It's definitely flexible dieting, I find, is the key to actually having a sustainable diet. If
Mm,
you're having a diet and you're not enjoying it, then that's how people fall off, and that's why people start binge eating and just fall off their diets, because it's not enjoyable. If you're enjoying what you're eating while staying in a calorie deficit, that's key.
wow, that's some interesting stuff. So
Mhm.
I mean, so it looks like the keys were like you made sure your diet was on point, but it wasn't too restrictive. You worked out about 3 times a week, so that kind of brought down, didn't make it as complicated. And then it sounded like you were doing a little bit of mindset stuff to kind of keep yourself long-term focused into the situation. And then also you mentioned that when you were working out, you went hard in those sessions. So it
Yeah.
wasn't like I'm going to do 2 things. What would a session look like? Like, what would be one of your workout sessions seem like?
So we'd have, say, like it's an upper body session. It'd be like a lot of the key movements. So I'd be doing incline bench press, military press, weighted chin ups, lateral raises, just kind of like a lot of like the main compound movements. And I'd only be doing like 3 to 4 sets, but I'd be doing what's I was taught was reverse pyramid training. So I'd be doing my heavy set first, and I'd only work in the low rep range. And then as I move through my sets, I'd decrease the weight, but increase the reps. So you're getting kind of the best of the both worlds. You're getting hypertrophy training, and you're also getting strength training.
Wow.
Yeah,
Amazing.
so they're intense workouts, but then since you're only working out 3 days a week, you still have the optimal recovery time.
That's awesome. And did you integrate cardio into this, or there was no cardio for this?
So it's a funny story, because I've actually I when I did my first cut after I gained all that freshman 15, I didn't really know how to cut. So I
Oh,
did an improper cutting session, and I got super, super shredded, but
oh
I
wow.
lost a bunch of my muscle.
Mm.
So, and I was doing cardio after every workout for 20 minutes. I was doing 20 minutes of stair climber every workout.
Oh wow, that's
Yeah, it was a lot. So I actually lost a lot of my muscle, but I was super shredded. So I was like, okay, it was an improper cut. And then after that, I did a bulk again. And this is still in the second year of college. So then I bulked again, but I was like, oh, I need to get my muscle back. So I did a kind of a dirty bulk. I gained a lot of fat back,
Oh
but I
man.
also gained a lot of muscle. And then finally, I did an improper cut and then to a proper lean bulk, which brought me to fourth year. But yeah, that was just kind of incorporating a little bit of warm up cardio. So what I was doing was 10 to 15 minutes of skip rope before my workouts, and then I'd also incorporate what's called an active rest day. So say on like a day that I wasn't working out, I'd go for a run or I'd go for a walk, like a brisk walk, and just try and get like 10,000 steps in on an active rest day, and that helped out a ton.
Wow, that's a journey. You went
Yeah,
through a lot of
well, I've done
Hus-
both sides. I know both sides.
man. Okay, let me ask you, what were some of the mistakes you made when you were cutting that you would say, okay, these are typical mistakes that you got to watch out for?
So I was rushing the process. So what I was doing was I felt like I wasn't losing weight fast enough. So when I started doing that, I started bumping my calories down. And
Mm,
right when you start bumping your calories down over about 400, 500 calories under maintenance, you're risking losing muscle. So that's what I did. I bumped my calories down probably 600 under maintenance. And then on top of that, I was doing the 20 minutes of stair climber, which burned 700 calories.
yeah,
So
wow.
on top of that 600, I was already in a deficit. I'm now down 1,200 calories. And I was only eating 1,800 calories. So I was ruining myself. I was just eating muscle away.
I feel you though, because honestly, I had a moment where I wasn't losing anything, and sometimes I have moments where I'm like, man, I just want to like just cut everything out, but it's hard. It's sometimes really hard to not just do that, just cut
For
it down
sure.
even further, right? So I fully hear how that can happen, and it's kind of funny because a lot of times I remember the beginning of my journey, I was always thinking, I thought it was so hard to lose weight, but I realized after it's hard to lose weight and keep muscle, and that was really where I realized the real challenge of because anyone can just take out calories, but it's hard to maintain that muscle mass at the same time. So
Yeah.
it is a challenge. So I see what you're saying. And then what would you say are the typical mistakes or things to watch out for when you're going the opposite way now when you're bulking?
So it's basically the opposite. Eating too many calories. First of all, so yeah, I'll say what I did. So I wanted to gain weight back as fast as possible and try and gain my muscle back. So what I did with that was I'd go on way too high calories, and on my too high calories, I was just eating whatever I wanted, and and that was including like a bunch of fast food and not the best food ever, and like that stuff's just littered with sodium and fat. So I think I was getting way too many calories in. And on top of that, not enough protein and way too much fat. So I was just gaining a bunch of fat and no muscle. And I cut out all cardio, which I actually used to be against cardio when bulking, but now I'm for cardio. I think you should do cardio when you're bulking. I think you should do cardio when you're cutting. I think it's super important to stay active. So
Nice.
yeah, no cardio, eating way too many calories. I wasn't really tracking. I was just eating whatever. So yeah, definitely the opposite happened there.
And when you are doing cardio in your bulking phase, what type of cardio? Is it the same type of cardio, or are you doing more like, okay, I'm just gonna walk and that's gonna be like, what are you doing differently in
So
your
I
cardio routine?
still do the 15 minutes of skipping before my workouts. So that's on my workout days. And then on my non-workout days, what I've been doing is active rest. So walking again, like you said. But lately I've been experimenting with doing like short runs.
Mm.
So I don't want to burn too many calories because I do want to bulk. But if it's just keep the runs on a shorter scale, I'm not burning as many calories. Um, but I'm also staying active. So I
Wow.
say it's really hard to get 10,000 steps in a day. Like if you're kind of stuck inside.
Yeah.
I preach on my programs actually that you should be getting 10,000 steps a day, but I don't think I get anywhere near that. I think I'm getting maybe 5,000 to 6,000 a day. And I think that's optimal. As long as you're getting out, going for a walk, doing something active, and not just sitting on your ass all day.
Yeah, which is really important, especially in this kind of situation. So, I mean, what are you thinking about going forward? Because I mean, I know you're a structural engineer by trade, but you have such a big background. So, are you thinking maybe possibly to go in that direction, like full time?
Um, Definitely, I'm thinking of that, but right now it's definitely not big enough for me to sustain myself just doing that. So what I actually really want to do is I want to just get a job as a structural engineer, do that for a little bit, and work with my fitness again on the side still, and just see if I can build that up even more. And a goal of mine now is to work the 9 to 5 job and work away from it to being able to work for myself. And I think that's going to be my goal to have my goal in mind. So that's going to push me even harder to push my fitness and to push my other things that I'm doing to try and work for myself. So I think getting an actually 9 to 5 job as a structural engineer will be good for me because I'll realize, okay, this isn't that fun. Like I'd rather be working for myself, working from home, doing the things I like. So that will actually push me to actually try and work harder.
No, that makes so much sense. So I mean, like you are you literally represent the man hustle and fit. You stay fit and you are on the hustle with the structural engineering. So that's absolutely amazing. And as I said before, that's the reason why I wanted people to see somebody who is like them. Like you're not like a personal trainer or a bodybuilder or someone that just does this all day long. You're literally a person who,
Mhm.
has a job, has a career, and you're basically still fitting in the time. So where can people find you? Like what are you working on right now? Essentially.
So I'm only really working with Instagram. So you can find me on Instagram. I actually have a TikTok and I make TikToks too. Like I just post workouts on there and stuff, and everything's just Matteo B Fitness.
Oh,
Yeah, I also have a website too that you can go and check out, like learn more about me on my website. My programs are on there, so you can learn about my programs if you want. And that's MatteoBFitness.weebly.com.
okay, awesome.
Yeah.
And then, so I like to always end the interview off with this one question. So if you, I'm always trying to find a great way to word it. So
Okay.
if you had to leave the planet tomorrow and you could only leave the world with one piece of health advice, like you want to leave them with some great wisdom, what would that piece of wisdom be that you would leave the planet?
Oh gosh. Um, for fitness, I'd I think it's important always to remember why you started.
I like that. There you go.
Remember your
Mateo, remember your why. That is
yeah.
huge. That is so huge. Matteo, this is awesome. It was a great interview. Honestly, everybody, you need to follow him. As I said before, the biggest thing to understand is it's one thing to listen to experts who are doing this on a day in and day out, but it's another thing to listen to somebody who's actually succeeded and it's not their full-time job. It's something that they're making work and they have a busy schedule and they're making it happen. And Matteo has literally done that. He's transformed his body and he had a busy schedule and he made it happen. So I honestly think he's a great role model for everyone to listen to. So go look out for what he's working on, get his fitness programs, his plans, and actually just start becoming a part of his community. He has a really great Instagram community of people that are interacting on a daily basis. So I highly recommend getting there. So Matteo, thank you for coming out, and everyone else, stay hustle and keep going out and getting your fitness done. Thanks, everyone.